So for me, at the Sooke House, having a restaurant, you have to have chefs that are very well organized, so you don't cook too much. So you have to know, with your guests what they're going to eat. And because the way we do things at Sooke House, we change our menu every day, which helps. We have a garden, so we pick a lot of things from the garden. And during the preparation of the food, with a vegetable that we don't use, and the part we don't use, we use a huge amount for our compost. So we recreate good soil. With a food that is not eaten from our customers, which always bugs me, especially, I'm going to say, we serve breakfast in the morning and it's complimentary. And they have to take what they want, yogurt, compotes, fruit compotes, granola. And because it's complimentary, I think our guests always take everything. And very often, a lot of things come back. And I always wanted to write down that it was complimentary, but if they left things on their tray, we were going to charge them. But I've never done it. But it really bugs me. It's like buffets. I mean, I don't know why people think that because it's a buffet, they need to, fill their plates and not eat it. I think it's our society that thinks, first of all, that we have to give bigger portion. We are a society that doesn't move very much, so we should not eat that much. Trying to not waste the food is just a question of organization and to really plan, and we try to do that as much as we can. And I think our kitchen team is very good. We really don't waste that many things because we prepare things for that day. And when we know the number of customers, it's fairly easy to do. And to reuse some of the things, not reuse them, but put them in another dish. So I think we do a pretty good job. And having a garden and the composting helps a lot. I really want to work I always wanted to work with the grocery stores and the other restaurants, because I think we can do way better to use our waste. What I would like to see, and I always wanted to do it with our past chef that was at the culinary program, Pierre Carroll, is to actually get that waste food that is, maybe it's apples that are a little bit bruised, but you can cut part of it, and bring them to our kitchen with professional people, or even create a group of people that can cook and transform, make sauces, make soups, make chutneys, make all those things with the food that is not bad food. It's just food that people don't want to buy because it's, bruised or doesn't look perfect, and give it to the food bank.
Thank you.
And I think we can.
I feel very interested in looking at produce, but exactly every day I go through the exact same thing with having food that's spoiled, doesn't look as good, I have to get rid of it and stuff like that. But one thing we do at our store is I try and give as much to the deli as possible, like the cucumbers, broccoli, carrots, and they create a lot of dishes with it to try and sell to the store. We do that. And the rest of it just basically goes out into the compost out back, and the farmer comes and picks it up 3 times a week. And he has a pig farm. He feeds it to his pigs, and he uses it for his fields and growing. And I believe he does spread it out amongst a few of the other farmers in the neighborhood. So all we do gets used, but we still go through an awful lot of stuff we throw out. I imagine in a week or so, we probably got maybe 40 to 50 banana boxes full of stuff that we get rid of every single week, every single year. It's the same thing, like 4 to 5, 6, 7 boxes a day just go out in the trash. And that's our trimming off our lettuce. Like we peel off the lettuce to make it look good. The top's maybe a bit black or so, but the rest of it still, everyone knows you're going to buy it, so we have to take it off of there. So it would be nice to work with and get the food, but the food is all being used at our store. We don't, none of it is chucked out, and is all being reused and recycled for the farms and for the pigs and that kind of stuff, and say again for the deli and their cookings and that. But there is quite a lot of waste that we can get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Better.
Okay.
We'll have a chance to ask them some questions or maybe put forward some ideas just as soon as Steve is done.
Thank you. If you want to hit F5 up there.
This is the advanced technician course.
Along the top of the keyboard.
Stand up.
No. No. That's my daughter telling me what to do. She's only 12, or almost 12. Yeah, Chloe, my name is Steve Unger, and I have the honor and privilege tonight to actually introduce you to Zero Waste Sooke. It's a new organization that started about a month ago, and we've actually been very busy over the last month. But before I talk about zero waste, we obviously have to talk about waste. What is waste? Waste, in my opinion, is a human failure. If you want to measure how badly humans are doing on this planet, how we're destroying the planet, how we're not working with the ecology, how we're doing things improperly, you just measure the piles of garbage, the gyres in the ocean, everything like that. That's just the litmus test of what we're doing wrong. Because in nature, there's no such thing as waste. One animal's byproduct is another animal's food, which is another animal's byproduct, which is another animal's food. It's a continuous cycle. There is no waste. So if it's not waste, what is it? Next again. It's actually a valuable resource that's leaving Sooke. It's food that's leaving Sooke. It's compost that's leaving Sooke. It's money that's leaving Sooke. It's jobs that are leaving Sooke. It's brain power that's leaving Sooke. It's all of these things. And in fact, it's worse than that because we're paying millions of dollars a year to export it out of our community. So what is zero waste then? Zero waste is the concept that was part of the circular economy, but it wants you to rethink everything, reduce everything, reuse everything, repurpose everything, rot everything, and then finally is recycle everything. In other words, nothing is wasted. So there's this concept by McDonough and Brandgart, I hope I pronounced his name right, about the two biocycles or technical or cycles. One we're quite familiar with, which is the biological nutrient cycle, where animals eat plants, animals defecate, the soil is enriched by that defecation, it decomposes, the plants then grow, and the animals eat the plants, and so on and so forth. And it keeps going on, and it's been going on for millions and millions of years. They're starting to apply that methodology now to the technical cycle. Products are produced, products are used, products are disposed of, but instead of going into landfills, they're dismantled, some of the parts are reused, they're actually manufactured to be dismantled, and then they're reassembled into new products. And the cycle continues again and again and again. Again, we're mimicking nature. Next, please. So what does a zero waste community actually look like? Well, it has farmers markets. It has a circular economy. People are shopping locally, people are working locally, people are enjoying things locally. There's reuse it centers, there's composting centers. Next, please. But most important, and as we're here for tonight, there is local farms. And the best zero wasters in the world are local, organic, environmentally friendly farms. And they are the best way of turning leftover bits into protein and nutrients and vegetables around. Next, please. So again, the concept is zero waste. It means that there's no leakages of money, of people, of anything. And that then leads to a vibrant local community and a vibrant local economy. Next, please. So the vision that the Zero Waste team has for Sooke is to become certified zero waste, to be a model zero waste town, to have no waste leave Sooke, so no dump trucks going out of the district, have a vibrant community recycling, composting center, free store, reuse it center. We want to turn waste into local jobs. And we will finally, and most importantly, want to have a very aware community, and we want to teach the children, I guess, what we've done wrong and how things could work better. Next. And then finally, for 2015, here are a few things that we want to do. Some school dumpster dives. Anyone who is interested in putting on a white hazmat suit and climbing into dumpsters, let us know. It's fun. I've done it several times. Roadside cleanups. Have a cleanest bin contest. Workshops at the farmers market. Awareness raising activities, and I guess Zero Waste team, we can tick that one off. We've started tonight. Community open space meeting. No more plastic bags. And a knowledge-based website. And my last slide. If you want to help out, want to find out more information, get involved. We have a table up front tonight. We have a website, zerowaste.ca, email address,
info@zerowaste.ca. Our schools, our staff, kids, because we're not staff and we don't have, you know, how do we handle that in school, which is a microcosm of the society, and so we have to hire additional staff in school to sort out all of the packaging from the food scraps and those kinds of things as well, which is a way to practice, I think, what Steve was saying, in helping our kids understand that, so that we're developing a philosophy as opposed to a problem for a school district that's supposed to educate kids.
Okay, well, I don't know about, but the idea of the dumpster dive is that we go in with and work with the students, and we all go through the garbage together to see what's in there and to see what shouldn't be in there, and what maybe people can do something about. So that's something that certainly the Zero Waste Sooke is prepared to go into the schools and do that. Yeah. Anybody else?
I just wanted to give an example of zero waste from Anglican Church on Murray Road. One of the people who's in that congregation, I played bridge with her, and she said, she's 80, in her 80s, they made 30 pies. She took home all the peelings to make apple juice, which I thought, I didn't know that could be done. But she's one of those people who doesn't waste anything.
That's right. Maybe we'll get her to do one of those workshops. We need somebody from the older generation where nobody threw things out very much.
Yes.
Any other?
I could make a comment that the Creatively United for the Planet Festival, we have endeavored to be a zero waste event, and we've had on average 2,000 to 3,000 people attend every year, and through composting and recycling we've managed to finish with less than 2 bags of garbage. So we've really lead by example and show that it's possible. It really is.
One problem as a farmer, a local organic farmer, is in this particular climate particularly, nitrogen and nutrients are leached from the soil so quickly, and our farm used to be able to get different byproducts that we could use to turn into nutrients, and they've left the island. For example, the byproduct for making tofu is now, the factory has moved to Vancouver. We used to, because of the animal slaughtering and some of the regulations around animals, we're finding it harder and harder to get the kinds of manures that we need to compost. And so to see that we're exporting from Vancouver Island to bigger metropolitan areas the kinds of nitrogen that we need to grow food here, I mean, to keep our soils rich and alive, is a serious problem for a farmer and an organic farmer. Even more so for an organic farmer, because we really try to get products that have not been sprayed to use in making our compost. So it's really hard to keep up the nutrients, so we're having to buy alfalfa from the prairies to be able to add to our soils to grow produce for you. And that's ridiculous. We should have those products kept on the island and not export them as waste.
Any ideas?
Not specifically to what you were addressing, but I have an example of a zero waste community. My mother lives in a religious commune in Quebec, and all the food that they eat is donated by local grocery stores. And within their commune, the women are assigned different tasks, and they go through boxes and boxes of produce, and they will clean, they will make pots of soup, they will cook down all the food, and none of it is wasted. And it builds community within their commune. So I'm wondering if there are shelters around here, women's shelter, old age groups that could use the leftover foods and build community that way.
Dave, does the Western Foods ever donate things to the food bank?
I don't believe we do. As I say, we do have a reduced section in the grocery department where we sell a lot of reduced stuff, but as far as donating mass quantities, I'm not even sure we really have mass quantities like that we get rid of like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just.
Usually they sell a lot of reduced in it. But each part of it, it's always full. There's always people shop it. So we do have a reduced section. And they can buy food and stuff.
Okay.
Maybe just a quick comment. Mary Alice was saying about the nutrients. Maybe the opportunities is when I was doing some of the research for Zero Waste Soup, looking on the district website, we as a community pump about 2,000 cubic meters of human effluent into the Strait of Juan de Fuca every day. And I don't have the math in my head, but that's probably 20 or 25,000 gallons per day of stuff going in there. And you can think about it, there's an awful lot of nitrogen in that. In addition to that, there is almost 6 metric tons of solid waste coming out of the sewer treatment plant that we actually ship off to Heartland, that then gets shipped off to a private company in Richmond that's then turned into energy and compost. And we actually pay for the privilege of doing that. So we pay this company to give them their inputs. Though the equivalent of that stuff could irrigate 20 acres worth of fields and compost 13 fields. So that's just from our sewers.
Other suggestions, questions? Something that might have got brought up by the movie, or?
Yeah, Joe. There's something on eggs in there, and I don't know if you know it or not, you don't have to refrigerate eggs. I used to live in a total isolated wilderness with eggs, with no refrigeration. You do once a week, every Sunday, I turn my eggs over in the carton. That yolk just needs to change position in the shell. And there's no refrigeration. Just keep the yolk active by turning it over once a week. That's in the summertime.
Let me just give you this, because it's hard to go.
I'm just thinking that people would be so picky buying their produce if things were a little cheaper. So therefore things don't get as wasted as much.
For sure. I think it certainly would be nice if the supermarkets had a plate where there was some vegetables that weren't quite perfect, that were at a reduced price. But I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not going to be expecting my zucchinis not to have bulges in them anymore. So just tonight when I was buying some onions from Steve, and he said, "Oh, I'll find you some really perfect ones." I said, "No, that's not what we're here for. Give me some imperfect ones." They weren't rotten or anything. So we need to maybe think like that a bit, huh?
Yeah, I heard the Great Canadian Superstore is starting a pilot program where they're reducing potatoes, apples, and bananas 1/3 off if they're blemished and not perfect. So that's a good example for maybe other grocery stores to start. And the idea was that if that took off, then they could maybe continue with other products. And the other thing I think that we should be doing is not locking, like making it mandatory to unlock the dumpsters, so that if people are willing to go in and get food in there, they should be able to, and not, because it's I've known people who have been fined from doing it, and it's just wrong. It shouldn't be thrown out when there's hungry people or poor people.
Good idea.
I heard an interesting piece of history about in Vancouver. There was during wartime there was a food saving effort, and people were asked to not put their food in the garbage, but instead to put their evening meal leftovers on the back fence in the back alley, so that those who were in need could take a stroll down the alley and just discreetly pick up clean, tidily left out food leftovers. And that was I thought that was a beautiful way of sharing and stretching what we have. On the second thought, I think that a great shift might be necessary. We're not talking about reducing the cost of blemished, imperfect produce, but instead changing the standard of expectation that we hold, which is beauty magazines, beauty images that we see in magazines and media change our standard of what we think is normal or attractive. I think that we need to do the same sort of redo on our expectations for the food that we're selecting. I don't know how to offer that, but maybe just holding that in mind is something we can each do on our own.
Hypnosis.
Okay. Well, if anybody has any ideas that come out of this, like yours, maybe there's a spot in the Zero Waste Sooke for trying to organize things, or maybe just doing it on your own, but we certainly would all be behind something like that. Yeah. Okay, thanks for coming out. Don't miss next month. It's a really beautiful film. It's called All the Time in the World. Yeah, and you can just Google it and look at the trailer.
What's the date?
It's May 13th.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.